That's not what the text is saying.
No, I'm not saying they're born of a lower caste. I'm saying they have the lower birth.
Yeah, that's not what the text is saying. You're interpreting like that.
Just to interject 1 second, so I'll make this fair. So what we'll do is Golden and Ran versus Prohit and Uncle Ji. Just to see please, because Uncle Ji is very knowledgeable too. So what we'll do is a 2v2 debate.
Wait, hold on. What?
The infinity.
We're just having a discussion.
We don't need.
I know, guys. I know. I'm sorry. Not like debate, but like it's just. I'm trying to make it even. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's all good. So, like, do you guys understand Hindi?
Yeah, I can understand it.
Okay, so I'm gonna read the translations done by Adi Shankaracharya ji in Hindi. Then I can translate it to English for you guys too, if you guys want that, right? So it says for 932, the translation done by Adi Shankaracharya ji says, क्योंकि हे पार्थ जो कोई पाप योनि वाले हैं अर्थात जिनके जन्म का कारण पाप है ऐसे प्राणी हैं वह कौन है सो कहते हैं वह स्त्री वैश्य और शूद्र भी मेरी शरण आकर मुझे ही अपना अवलंबन बनाकर परम उत्तम गति को पाते हैं. So it clearly says over here, right? क्योंकि हे पार्थ, डियर पार्थ, जो कोई पाप योनि वाले हैं अर्थात जिनका जन्म का कारण पाप है. So anyone who is born from the pap yoni, hence the reason of their birth is the sin. Reason of their birth is the sin. वह कौन है? Who are these people? So वे कहते हैं वह है स्त्री. So these people, who are these people? These people are women, Vaishya, Shudra. Even if these people come under my refuge, they will be getting the Paramagat or they will getting the Uttam Gati. So this is the translations by Adi Shankaracharya ji, right?
Yeah, but see, once again, you're twisting the words. When it's okay, imagine if I told you this, that regardless of whatever, give me a second. Regardless of whatever group you belong to, whether it is whether you are Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Buddhist, you will still be able to achieve the gates of God if you accept Krishna. That's essentially what it's saying. It's not listing out all the groups. It's listing you, giving you examples of if you are a within a group that is able to cause sin or not cause sin, but you know what I mean, right? To sin in this world, you are still able to achieve the supreme goal by taking refuge in Krishna.
Wait, sorry, can I say something here?
I agree with that. Hold on, Jack. I agree with that statement, right? I'm not saying otherwise. I'm not saying that they are not going to get the supreme goal if they do not take refuge in Sri Krishna ji. I agree with that statement. My concern is that why only the women, the Shudra and Vaishya are called from the Papiyonya? That birth is from the sin is only for women, Shudras and Vaishyas. Why not the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas, right? Like, why are they exempt from this?
Yeah.
Why are like women targeted like that and not just like all men?
Everybody.
Right?
Yeah.
That's my concern.
So like I said again, so
that's exactly. Sorry. That's exactly what I was going to say. Was I understand what you're saying around the block. How you're saying it's saying basically if you take refuge in Sri Krishna, then you. But I'm saying why is it only targeting exactly what Prohit just said, like only women or people of like kind of lower caste, right?
I mean, so this is what I'm trying to tell you: is whatever you consider a lower caste, let's say merchants like the Vaishyas, right? Mm-hmm. Technically, they're still above the Shudras. So why did they only not say Shudras in there, right? That's my example here. They're just listing out groups. They're saying regardless of whatever you're born into, whatever you are, and then they give out a couple of examples. That nowhere is it saying that these guys are lower. Nowhere is it saying that these guys are higher caste, lower caste, whatever you want to say it. It's just saying if you're born into any group, regardless of whatever you are, you will still be able to achieve salvation. That's all it's saying.
Yeah, but it's saying that you are born of the Papiyonya and your
sinful birth, right?
Birth is sinful.
Yeah, so, Prohit, do you understand how you twisted your words here? Because when I was in the audience, before I came up, you were trying to tell Golden Age that this verse is saying that women are lower. Do you consider your mother as a lower caste or as a lower in standing in society? You said this, and now since I'm up here, I told you that's not what the verse is saying. You're changing the words now.
No, I'm not changing anything at all. When I did give him the translations, I said the exact same thing. You can ask Golden. I said that people of a lower birth, even if they take refuge under Shri Krishna ji, they will all be saved. I said.
So where does it say lower birth in this verse?
I told you exactly. In the Sanskrit it says papiyonya, and papiyonya.
Yeah, that's not what lower birth means.
Adi Shankaracharya ji translated this papiyonya to sinful birth.
Yeah, so where is lower birth, by the way?
Papiyonya, sinful birth.
Yeah, sinful birth is not lower birth. Where does it say lower birth?
Sinful birth is not lower birth.
Where does it say lower birth? You said lower birth. Where does it say lower birth?
Sinful birth is the lower birth.
Sinful birth. That's not. See, this is the issue. You're twisting words now. To fit your own narrative, you're saying sinful birth is lower birth. That's not what the verse is saying. It's saying
what is
whatever group you're born into, you can commit sins wherever, as long as you accept the supreme God. You can take refuge in Him. That's what it's saying. That's all it's saying.
I'm gonna read the Hindi translations again for you, right? And you can.
I understand the translation. You're just gonna twist the words again. This is essentially the point. You can be born into any group performing sins in the world, right? You can still reach the gates of God.
No, I don't think that's what it's saying. So, let me read the verse again for you in Hindi, and you can untwist the words for me, okay? It says, "Jo koi paap yoni wale hain."
Okay, so what does paap yoni mean?
Paap yoni, it says, "Jo koi paap yoni wale hain."
Yeah, so what does paap yoni mean?
अर्थात जिनके जन्म का कारण पाप है. अर्थात जिनके जन्म का कारण पाप है. So these people did bad karma in their last lives, and that's why their janam is of a lower birth now. जिनके जन्म का कारण पाप है, ऐसे प्राणी हैं. वह कौन है? सो कहते हैं वह स्त्री, वैश्य और शूद्र भी मेरी शरण में आकर मुझे ही अपना अवलंबन बनाकर परम उत्तम गति को पाते हैं. So please tell me, where did I twist the words?
I literally explained it already. Like, this is an issue where you're not understanding, or you're choosing not to understand.
It's not matching with what Adi Shankaracharya ji is saying.
Brother, you're deliberately choosing to not understand and twist everything to fit your own narrative. Like, I've explained it countless times. If you are choosing to not understand it, then that's on you. Because this verse, it does not mean whatever you're trying to portray it as. And actually, I have proof of this. There's so many other verses where Krishna himself says, it doesn't matter if you are a dog, if you're a cat, if you're a dog eater could be humans, right? Doesn't matter. There is no discrepancy. Anyone and everyone is the same against God. This verse is further just proof that there is no discrepancy between the souls and the human beings and all that stuff. All life form is equal in the eyes of God.
So when Adi Shankaracharya ji translated it, he translated it wrong?
No, you are interpreting the translations wrong.
So can you interpret it for me?
I've said it like 3-4 times already. I'm not going to do it again because you are choosing to not understand what the translation actually means.
Can you tell me, जिनके जन्म का कारण पाप है, what does that translate to in English?
Yeah, so if you are born in a group that can sin, that can do sin in this world, it does not matter what group God and reach salvation. That's all it is saying.
Man, let's do it word by word.
Let's read it word for word. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do it word by word.
It's saying women are included in that group. Is it not saying that?
Hold on.
No. Basically saying. Okay, bro, give me 30 seconds.
Okay, go ahead. Let's repeat the word by word, right? जिनके
स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्राः
जन्म का
तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम्
कारण
cause
पाप
मां हि पार्थव्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्राः तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम्.
So you know what he is saying here? He is saying, Parth, come to in my shelter or sanctuary. Even the Papa Jonis, like all women, women mean all women, and Shudra and Vaishya, even they get refused here and get, so you should come to me. Even Papa Joni, and Papa Joni is not only birth. Joni also go for life. Birth definitely plus whole life. Like we still use this word in our language, North West Indian. Like ਇਹਦੀ ਤੇ ਜੂਨ ਹੀ ਕੁੱਤੇ ਵਾਲੀ ਆ, ਇਹਦੀ ਤੇ ਜੂਨ ਹੀ ਡੰਗਰ ਵਾਲੀ ਆ. So whole life, birth and life. So all woman I mean, and Shudra and Vaishya, 3. Women regardless of whether Brahmin or anyone. So there you go.
Okay, so once again, I'm going to tell you this exactly, right? If I told you that regardless of if you were born a Muslim, a Buddhist, or a Christian, you can still achieve.
But that's not what it says
the gates
there,
of
buddy.
heaven. Am I now saying that being born into a Muslim family, a Christian family, or a Buddhist family means that you're a lower caste, means that you're sinful, means that
no,
you're
it don't even count the Kshatriya and Brahmin there.
You said no, right?
Sorry, what? No.
Listen to my analogy. Did you listen to my analogy?
No, but like, the text don't even count the Kshatriya and Brahmin there. Only Vaishya, Shudra. Look,
So now if you have the problem that Kshatriyas are not included in it, then why are the merchants included in there? Because technically, according to you,
no, because you know merchants.
So
let me tell you. Merchants can't have even a Yogopavitya, like that is Janeu. Only Kshatriya and Brahmins can.
ਇੱਕ ਲਾਈਨ ਬੋਲ ਲੈਣ ਤੋਂ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਂ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਉਹ ਭਰਾਵੋ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਤਿੰਦਰ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਵ ਤੇ WWF ਚੱਲਦਾ ਪਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਉੱਧਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਨਜ਼ਾਰਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ M16 ਦੇ
ਮਾਲਵਾ WFF ਕੀ ਹੈ ਮਾਲਵਾ ਆ ਗਿਆ
I could spot him from like a mile away.
ਕੀ WFF ਕੀ ਹੈ ਮਾਲਵਾ ਇਹ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀ ਯਾਰ ਇਹ ਸਿੰਘ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਬੈਨ ਹੁਣ ਮਾਲਵੇ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਬੈਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਇਹ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਲਾਈਵ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਮੋਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਗਿਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਾਈਵ ਤੇ ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਰੋਂਗ This is wrong. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਕੇ I don't even know
WWF man
WWF
ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਲਾਈਵ ਤੇ ਆ ਜਾਓ ਉਧਰ WWE ਚੱਲੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ
ਉਹ ਲਿਸਨ ਮਾਲਵਾ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰਾ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਆ ਬਟ ਹੁਣ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਬੈਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਇਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਜੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਇਨਕੰਪੀਟੈਂਟ ਬੰਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹਦਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਢਿੱਲਾ but ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਲਾਈਵ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਮੋਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਣਾ this is wrong.
I still stand to my last point that I made that women they prefer upward mobility and that's why they are seen in the household as being lower than the man.
Okay, so
Golden, I also heard you say that, but don't fall for the trap because what he's saying is just not true. The verse is not saying that women are second-class citizens whatsoever.
No, but what I'm saying is that in the household they should be, subservient to the man because the man is the one providing to the family, and the woman she is going to be the one to take care of the household.
Yeah, you know what? That's your belief.
yeah,
No, I mean you can look at it in any angle. The woman she's going to be the one taking care of the kids more than the man will in these days and ages too.
So like I think Golden is more leaning towards Adi Shankaracharya and he believes women are of a lower birth. But let's look
no one is saying that. Once again, you're saying
I didn't even
birth.
say like lower birth. I'm saying that the role of a woman is going to be different than a man, and women they prefer upward mobility in most cases because men are going to be the providers of the house.
I'm sure you.
No.
Is a symbol of
Okay,
a
so
spiritual
No,
if I show
no, you know what Gurbani says? Krishna Sada Avatari Ruddha. He always stuck in the cycle of birth and life. He is not even mukt.
Yeah, and I can show you multiple verses that are like that for Krishna. So we do not believe Krishna as the God. It's just that like some Hindus find some verses and they start claiming these things, but that's not.
ਕਿਹੜੀ ਲਾਈਵ ਕਹਿ ਗਿਆ ਇਹ ਮਾਲਵਾ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਨੂੰ
ਉਹ ਯਾਰ ਐਵੇਂ ਹੀ ਆ ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੜਾਈ ਪਈ ਆ ਧੁੰਮੇ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੁੰਭ ਤੇ ਗਿਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਟਕਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਉਹਦੇ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਆ ਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੱਕ 'ਚ ਉਹ ਆਪਸ 'ਚ ਲੜੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ
Okay, but live the naam ki ab main ta rehna ta main ithe ab main thoda
पता नहीं नाम
No,
किया
we're not trying to plug it right now. Relax, Nick. Like
Okay,
we
fine.
have some other important issue on hand over here. Like इधर लोਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਾਵਾਂ ਨੂੰ lower birth ਬਣਾਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੂੰ ਪੰਗੇ ਪਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ
ਆ ਦੇਖੋ ਮੈਂ ਨਾ ਪੇਜ ਲਾਇਆ ਵਾ ਮੇਰੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਕਰੋ ਅੱਛਾ ਆ ਵੱਡੀ ਕਰੋ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾ ਇੰਟਰਪ੍ਰੀਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਸਿਰਫ ਨਾ ਡਿਕਸ਼ਨਰੀ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਬਦਾਰਥ ਨੇਗੇ ਆਪੇ ਹੀ ਅਰਥ ਕੱਢ ਲਓ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਇੱਕ ਮਿੰਟ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾ there is no interpretation but there is a translations of each word and just make up
word by word translation, right? Like if you look at the word papionia, it is translated to off low birth.
Yeah, that's a wrong translation.
No, these are dictionary. These are not translation. These are dictionary word. Papa, what is pap? Tell me what is pap in English. Isn't it a sin?
Pap is sin.
Sin. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so then how does the dictionary translate Papa Yona to lower?
Papa Yoni, Yoni,
How does that make sense? Please explain that to me.
I tell you, Yoni word is still a Punjabi. We still use in our language. It means two things: one birth and another life, whole life. Let me give you another screenshot.
Okay. So there you go. So sin, birth / life. How does that translate?
No,
to
look
birth?
first. Definitely, Yoni definitely mean birth plus secondary meaning also. But there is definitely birth plus whole life. You know how we use Yoni. ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਯਾਰ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣੋ ਲਿਸਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਵਰਡ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਯਾਰ ਕਿ ਕੁੱਤੇ ਦੀ ਜੂਨ ਚ ਪਿਆ ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਡੰਗਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਜੂਨ ਚ ਪਿਆ ਤੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਦੇ ਜਨਮ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਇੱਕ ਉਹਦੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਨਾ ਬਟ ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਆਵਰ ਲੈਂਗੁਏਜ ਵਰਡ these words are from it's our organic language world we still use in our daily language.
I get it. Can you go to
if Yona means birth or death or life, then how does sin, birth / life translate to of low birth?
Yoni mean birth. And whatever form you take birth, you live same life. Like if it's a sinful birth, then you are gonna live for sinful whole life.
No, you're just twisting the words again.
Can I make my point? Can you go to chapter 9, verse 29? Can you do that?
What? Say that again.
Can you go to chapter 9, verse 29?
Here you go. Simple search. Papa Yoni Gita, and this is what it comes. The first result: sinful inferior birth.
Can you go to chapter 9, verse 29? It's the same chapter, just a few verses before.
You are talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to take a screenshot. Verse 9:29. Okay. But what changed? It's a one shloka which says you should come to my refuge, even the sinful birth, like woman and Shudra.
Read verse 29.
You can make your own bigger.
You're the one that referenced.
No, let me give you reference. I gave you the relevant shloka. It's a complete, composite, independent shloka. Here you go. There is no this things is a complete context. There you don't need any more context.
So if something comes precedent to what comes after, does the precedent become negated?
ਉਹ ਲਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਯਾਰ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਵਾ ਲਾ ਦੋ ਕੋਈ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ
Does the precedent become negated?
ਨਹੀਂ negated. You want to go before or after this?
Okay, read it.
This one is 29. This is the 929, the one I put on. Look, the number up there. Let me move it little down. This is the 929. See?
Okay.
It is a 929. The Singh put it on.
Saying you're looking at 9:30.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, the Singh put it on.
Oh, it says 9:30 on top. I think that's the time then.
Oh yeah,
okay.
It's 9:30.
Yeah, we're right. So yeah, it is 9:29. So it says 9:29. It says the translations that I'm looking at right now is from the ISKCON website. It's called vedbase.io, and it says, "I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend. Is in me, and I am also friend to him."
So what does that mean?
I tell you what that means. No. Let me tell you that mean. Christian admitted, okay, maybe I can forgive everyone, but these three categories, all women, but they take birth in Papa Yonis. Their birth is, listen me.
More interpretations, brother.
No. Listen. Krishna telling them a person, a character of a story that I
all
can give.
living
No,
beings.
listen me. It doesn't matter. Krishna telling me, come to my refuge, I will give to salvation. But he admitted their birth, from the birth, if they born in a Shudra family, they are sinful. If they born
No,
in a
but here they're
Vaishya family,
saying,
listen, don't
That's
interrupt.
not what the verse is
Don't
saying at all.
interrupt me, please. If they born in a Vaishya family, they are sinful. But if all women are sinful, maybe I can pardon them. That's different thing. But their life and their birth is sinful, no, regardless.
That's your interpretation.
No, that's what it means.
If you're not willing to understand
No,
the
there is nothing to
verses,
understand.
then it's on you.
here that
No.
he's treating everyone
This-
as
No, 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 no,
equal.
no, no, no.
This is not a
This
discrepancy in the
verse
books.
only
This is on
says
you.
Krishna telling even the people, the birth, the castes which are sinful, I can
Yeah, I
pardon
don't.
them
It
too.
doesn't matter what you try to explain it as. That's not what the verse is intended for.
That's what is
Once
written
again,
literally.
no, you guys are closing your minds. You're not understanding the verses. You're choosing not to understand.
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕੱਢ ਲਈ ਯਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਚਤੁਰਵਰਨਿਆਏ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਵਿਭਾਗਸ਼ਮ ਵਾਲਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ
Can
ਕੱਢਦਾ
a Brahmin be sinful? Can a Brahmin be
ਤਿੰਨ
sinful?
ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਵਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਹਿਤ ਇੱਕ ਚਤੁਰਵਰਨ ਵਾਲਾ ਇੱਕ ਇਹ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਨਾ ਡਰਾਉਂਦਾ ਵਾ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਛਤਰੀ ਨੇ ਬ੍ਰਾਹਮਣ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜੇ ਬ੍ਰਾਹਮਣ ਨੇ ਛਤਰੀ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਦੂੰਗਾ ਉਦੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਉਹ ਚੈਪਟਰ 18 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਕੱਢ ਦਿੰਦੇ
Can a Brahmin be sinful?
Man, if you guys are gonna spam Punjabi, then like you have your own conversation, man.
No, we're not spamming Punjabi.
I'm saying every
you
group
just
that you
laughed.
look at will be sinful. So
Okay,
to Krishna, they're all treated as equals.
Bring him back. Bring him back. I don't want him to be. Vire, वापस आ जाओ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵਾਪਸ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ I was just telling him the three reference points in Gita he can quote one the Chaturvarnaya one where the historical cost and there is another part in Gita where Krishna warned that if you born in a Shudra if you born in a Kshatriya don't try to do Vaishya work or Brahmin work if you born in a Brahmin family don't try to do work of Kshatriya or anyone if you guys do this don't go by where you take birth I will give you like some kind of punishment after life and stuff. There will be consequences. So stick to which family, which caste you born, and do only those things.
Yeah, it says you're better off following your own dharma than to follow someone else's dharma. That's the verse he's referring to. But let me talk about this 932 and more translations, right? So he was stating that I was twisting the words. So I'm gonna read the translations of Madhusudan Saraswati right now. He wrote it in Godarita Dipika. He says that he interprets that women are inferior because they aren't allowed to study the Vedas. Vaishyas who are engaged in agriculture, Shudras because they do not have any right to education, owing it to their birth. Then again, we look at another translation that is done by Abhinava Gupta of the Kala Tantra sect. And he does the commentary on this one and he says he interprets that women are included amongst the list of lower birth because they are ignorant. Vaishyas are included because they are engaged in agriculture. Shudra because they are not allowed to take part in Vedic rituals. Then we look at the Dhanapati Suri's commentary of Gita, who are lower sinful birth. They are women, Shudra, and Vaishya. There it means women and Shudra are non-entitled to the Vedic studies. It is clearly evident that women and Shudras are of lower birth because of being born in a sinful body. Then we look at the translations done by Sridhar Swami, where he says women Shudra are included because they are devoid of study. Then we look at the ISKCON's founder, Swami Prabhupada. He says, in the human society, Stri, Shudra, Tatha, Vaishya, even women and Shudra and Vaishya, they are also taken in this category of Papyoni. Papyoni means their intelligence is not very sharp. That is called Papyoni. And a Brahmana means to become a very, very, very highly intellectual. That is called a Brahmana because he will understand the Brahman. To understand Brahman is not the business of tiny brain. Alpha Medasam, there are two Sanskrit words. Alpha Medhasa and Sumedhasa. Alpha Medhasa means having little brain substance. Physiologically, within the brain, there are brain substances. It is found that the brain substances in a man is found up to 64 ounces. They are very highly intellectual person, and in a woman, the brain substance is found to more than 34 ounces. You will find more about this in the following chapter, where he talks about it. So these are all the different interpretations done by different scholars. So, like, Prabhupada was so sexist that he claimed that the brain of a woman is smaller than the brain of a man. And that's why Sri Krishna made this claim that women are of the lower birth. This is, mind you, the founder of the ISKCON movement right now. So, I don't think I am twisting any words over here like Ron was claiming. I actually said what was said in the translations, and I said the same thing. I said, even though they take the refuge of Sri Krishna, they will be saved. I did not hide that part. I added that part in. But for some reason, he thought that I was twisting the words. So I don't know if he's going to agree with all of these translations that I've read by different people, and they have made the claim. And this is very, very clear that women are of sinful birth and of lower birth over here.
You know,
Anyways, like as you said, they're people. So people, they have their opinions, right? So if they have their opinions, they're entitled to it. But it
but
doesn't
the
mean
Gita
that's the
saying
real
that same
translation.
thing. Gita saying same thing. You know what he's saying basically.
Gita.
Suppose I'm a Brahmin, and you know, like I am in some office and law change, constitution change, and there is some feature I have to give a ration to all people in a village. Suppose I am a clerk somewhere or something, and there is a Shudra and woman. I tell, even you guys are like insignificant and lower caste, sinful people. I am gonna do mercy on you too. Even you don't deserve it because you take birth in a sinful. You take a sinful birth. All women, Shudras, Vaishya. So even you don't deserve, I am gonna do mercy on you. So he still put them in a, like a, give them an inferiority complex. You guys are bad, sinful. I am doing extra mercy. You don't deserve it, but okay, because I am your so-called God.
Okay, so first of all, the Brahmanas, they're meant, their sole purpose and the reason for their existence is to preserve the Vedas and the holy scriptures in Hinduism. Now, if a person outside of the Brahmin lineage, they take hold of the scriptures, then they would be able to corrupt them. That's why they say the Brahmanas should only marry within the Brahmanas. Now, if we look at the ancient Hindus, we notice that the Brahmanas, they actually lived very medial lifestyles. They didn't have all the luxuries in the world. So to say the Brahmanas, they had, you know, all the wealth of society and they treated the Shudras indifferently is false.
No, look, it doesn't matter. Your living style is the cunning mind, viciously cunning mind, and control the structure. You can live in a no, underwear or not even underwear, and but you set a tantra, a matrix, and you are controlling a society, even the kings, with your vicious mind and your those vicious strategy. That's what matter.
I mean, you
The
can say
ego
there's
is not about money. Just somebody have money. More ego. The biggest ego is some people give up all their money because they want people to like worship them or something, give them regard. So ego want following or people in under control. The obsession of control. Control freaks. Control freaks. Most control freaks don't care about money or lifestyle.
well, we must understand that not all Brahmins are perfect, and we understand that there can be bad
But
Brahmins
we are not
too.
discussing Brahmins here. Your Krishna didn't put Brahmins along with Shudras or Vaishyas
Yeah,
or
but
women.
Brahmins can be sinful too.
Yeah, but he didn't put them there.
But
He didn't put the
but
Kshatriya there or
like
Brahmin there.
but
Yeah.
a sinful and as much as like the worst of Brahman, right? He is still praiseworthy.
Yeah.
But a Shudra.
Okay,
So
let
why
me ask you
Shudra?
this. Let me ask
Golden,
you this.
let me finish, Golden, right? Like, but a Shudra, even if he reads all the four Vedas and memorizes them, he is still not praiseworthy. You know
Yeah.
who said this?
Who said it? Prabhupada?
No.
No, Tulsidas in Ramcharitramanas. He
Yeah.
said, "Pujiye bipar sakal gunhina, pujiye bipar sakal gunhina, pujiye na shudra, pujiye na shudra, chahe ved pavina." So a Shudra, even if he learns the four Vedas, you should never worship him. But a Brahmin, even he has zero gunas. He's a bad person. He beats his wife. He gambles. He does all the sinful things in the world.
Where does it say he gambles? He does all these sinful things. You're putting words where
Whatever
they
bad
aren't
you
there.
consider, okay, if you don't consider gambling bad, so take it out.
No, I'm saying you are the one defining the parameters of what sinful
You can
is.
set
Hear me
your
out.
own for bad. You can set your own.
Bipara sakal gunhina. Zero gunas. Zero guna means the person who is a sinful person.
Worthless
What is
person.
the definition of a sinful person? A gambler, a wife beater, are sinful person. Do you agree or do you not agree?
So gunas, it doesn't translate to sinful. It
Okay,
translates.
let's make it simple. So Brahmin, even worthless, is worthy to be praised. And no matter how worthy the Shudra is, how intelligent and he can guide people or something, he is still not worthy to praise. How about worthless Brahmin versus worthy Shudra?
First of all, the Shudra,
Hmm.
were they from the beginning of their life, were they meant to understand the Vedas and the Itihas and all the scriptures?
No,
Were
you
they?
know, at Tulsidas time, because things changed, the rulers were Mughals and the Shudras were start reading Vedas and stuff that time. You know, you don't even, I guess, know the timeline of Tulsidas, who write the
Yes, he
Ramcharitamanas.
came during the time of the Mughals. He
Yeah, that
rewrote
time
the
Brahmin don't have
Valmiki
that much
Ramayana.
that time Brahmins don't have power to give a like a lead in the ears of Shudra and stuff. They can't stop. They don't have power, and due to this situation, and the Kabir and all these people get to read within that year. Before that, no Shudra was able to read or listen. But those were different times.
And this was the eminence of the Bhakti movement.
No, there was what happening within this tussle. Muslims and Hindus, Muslim rulers and Sufis. So the Muslims were thinking maybe when the Hindus and people they discuss debate with each other, maybe some will fall in Islam. So they tell Brahmins, you can't like suppress or oppress these people. You cannot stop whatever they want because they have their own interest in that. Their interest was when there is a big debates going on, fights will happen, and then maybe we get catch some of. So they allow and they stop Brahmin to do any atrocity or oppression on Shudras. So every bad thing in the universe have some good point too. So there is some good element when Mughals come, even due to their selfish motives, they create a situation which become little good for all these oppressed Shudras by Brahmins. So yeah,
I mean, even the Mughals, they praise the Brahmins too. So
yeah, but they always even they praise Brahmins, but they always want people to convert to Islam. They always want there is a conflict, there is a discussion happen, and out
You
of
know,
these,
the Tulsidas was not even like he was not just a racist when he was talking about other varnas. He was also a misogynist.
yeah,
He wrote many misogyny filled things, right? Like he said, just like feeding a snake with milk makes it more venomous. Similarly, giving education to a lower caste person makes them more dangerous. He said that Teli Kumhar Swanch the Kiras, the Kolas, and the Kalvaras are all people of very low caste. He said, whether he is an adulterer, corrupt, gambler, or drunkard, a Brahmin should always be worshipped, but a Shudra can never be worshipped, even if he is educated. He said, just like fields get destroyed by heavy rains, similarly, women get spoiled by freedom. Vile is the woman who refuses to serve him. A woman who treats her husband with disrespect, even though he is old, sick, dull headed, indigent, blind, deaf, wrathful, or most wretched, shall suffer various torments in the hell. At the very sight of a handsome man, be it her own brother, father, or son, a woman gets excited and cannot restrain her passion. You see how stupid that is? A woman gets excited even though it could be his parents, his dad, his son, his brother. Like, she can get excited from her dad, her brother, or her son. You see how stupid this guy was when he was talking about women?
Yeah. It's a similar to Islam. You know what?
So why would he praise women in his text too?
Where he
Praise
praise
women
women.
in his text.
Yes.
Show us, quote us.
Do you think this is praising women right here? Like all of this
So
stuff that
if
you
you
read?
look at the Hanuman Chalisa, why does he praise Hanuman's mother?
That's what
Due to
praising
Hanuman.
is, right? So on one side you make someone a god and you praise their mother, but on the other end, the women of this world, the current world you're living in, you talk shit about them.
टोल
No,
ग्वार शूद्र
I'm
और
trying to
नारी ये सब
understand
ताड़न
where
के
your
अधिकारी.
logic is coming from because you're making a contradiction in your
टोल
argument. 'cause
ग्वार
this is coming
शूद्र
from the
और
same
नारी
person.
ये सब ताड़न के अधिकारी. This is also Tulsidas, I guess.
I can bring more verses, bro. Like there's this is just a sample.
So your point is very contradictory, as you can see, because
it
if this
really
is coming from
Okay,
one
so
person,
we got it. You said it's contradictory. So contradictory texts are not worthy to be considered. So throw them in a garbage if they are so contradictory.
what I'm saying is,
Yeah, just throw them in a
if
garbage.
one person is saying
You
one thing
cannot
in one
call
breath
divine
and another
text
thing in another breath.
contradictory text a divine text.
No, because you're bringing up one text that
No,
is of his opinion,
so many references.
and then another
Prohit
text
gives you 3
which is
references,
praising
and
the
another
woman.
one I give you Dolgvar, Shudra, or Nari. It's a regular people language. We understand. We don't need interpretation for this. Ye sab taran ke adhikari. And even if you do, if let's put that Tulsidas aside, go for Dharma Shastra, Mahapapa and Upapapa. Read them. So whatever
Yeah, if we
is
look at the Dharma
Upapapa for
Shastra,
Brahmin, whatever is Uppapa from very minor like sin for Brahmin, same thing is considered Mahapapa for Shudra.
what we see in the Dharma Shastras is that the Shudras, they actually praise even more than the Brahmins.
But no, in many contexts, for same thing, same bad thing, same wrong thing, Brahmins, it's very marginally or no punishment or nothing. It's upupapa, like it's secondary sin. But for our Shudras and maybe in some cases women, it's Mahapapa, like capital punishment almost, or very bad. So like there is a discrimination.
There is no discrimination because we
Oh,
also have facts
you know,
that there were Rishikas which were
like
revealing
Muslims say,
texts.
oh, there is no discrimination. Like even in the Quran, like they have Dharan ke adhikari, so it says strike the woman, and they said strike mean with the feather.
Can
You
you
know when they
explain?
interpret, they said it
Can you
means is get a feather and just touch your woman, but it's a strike.
Hold on.
And same thing, Dharan ke adhikari, and you are doing same bullshit like Muslims.
Can you explain the entire Shakta sect of Hinduism?
Shakta, you know, Tantra, they even rape women in their Tantra practices.
No, because if you look at it, a lot of the women are the actual leaders of the Shakta movement, and they are the ones that are conducting a lot of the rituals.
Yeah, I can explain that very easily, right? So what happens is that you say that these are the good women of this world, right? And you label them as the holy women. You say that even if the wind touches them, even if the sun touches them, the sun becomes pure. If the wind touches them, the wind becomes pure. If the water touches them, the water becomes pure. So for you to become like that women, you have to follow these rules. What are these rules that you have to follow?
Subservient to the male.
In Shiv Puran, they mentioned these rules for you to follow to become a Sati Savitri, as in to become like these goddesses. And what are these rules? There are many rules, and they're filled with misogyny. They are literally filled with misogyny. I can pull them up and read them up for you one by one.
So why don't you read the Devi Puran?
But one of them that I'm going to read for you is that it says that you should wash the feet of your husband, and the water that comes out of that is equivalent to the water of the Ganges and the water of the Yamuna, and you should drink it, and the heaven lies there. So this is what they do. They call you a Devi, and then they manipulate you to do things that are not okay for a woman to be doing in her life.
So why don't you read the Devi Puran, which is from the viewpoint of the women?
Oh, let's talk about Shakta. So to oppress women, you know, all those kotas, prostitution places in Lucknow and places, the head.
We're not here to talk about prostitution.
No.
We're here to talk about
I'm telling you. Listen, buddy. The leaders or head who run them or own them were also women. So who oppress, get other women,
That's a
little
social
girls,
issue,
and who
not a
sell them.
religious issue.
So same thing here. If some woman agree with the Brahmin and get the pie of the share of the pie, and they bring more women and get oppress them and tell them get oppressed from the male. So those women are praised. Like Indian prostitution, most prostitution business are run by women too.
But that's not
Same thing happened there.
owned. That's not religiously
Same thing happened
owned.
there in the Shakata. Same thing happened in the Shakata movement.
What Quran do you want me to look at? Which Quran?
You can look at the Devi Puran.
Like there's a different name for it. Are you sure it's called Devi Puran? I think that's a different name for it.
Let's look this up.
And let me tell another thing, because there are some Sikh audience. So in Guru Granth Sahib, the Sakat, what he is talking about, the people who worship Devi, just go search Sasyanu Kakka Tata. Not even one place is there is a positive view of it. It's very negative view for Sakat people, and it says Dure Jaiye Bhag, avoid Sakats. They are not trustworthy people. So for us Sikhs, Sakats are worse of worse, non-trustworthy. They are vicious, cunning people.
Golden, there's this one book called Devi Bhagavatam. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yes.
So you want to talk about Devi Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Okay, so like I don't think you're gonna like what's written in Devi Bhagavatam, my friend. So Devi Bhagavatam is the book that defines your Sati Pratha in it.
So Sati is actually a form of respect when the husband dies in battle.
It's a form of respect when your husband dies, you to unalive yourself. That's the form of respect.
Yes, if you are being abused by a invader to your lands, then you should unalive yourself as a form of respect.
But when was Devi Bhagavatam revealed?
If it is, then it is.
Now, when was Devi Bhagavatam revealed?
You tell me.
It was way before the Mughals came into India. Is that true or not?
Yes.
So, were there any invaders coming in at that time?
Yes, there were.
Oh, so there were other invaders that were coming in at that time.
Yes.
let's look at what Devi Bhagavatam says, right? Devi Bhagavatam in 6.25.35 to 50 it says, once Madri, full of youth and beauty, was staying alone in a solitary place, and Pandu, seeing her, embraced her, and due to the curse died. When the funeral pyre was ablaze, the chaste Madri entered into the fire and unalived as a sati. So, where is the invader in this equation?
Who was the person that came to view her?
It's talking about a Pandu.
Pandu.
Yeah.
So what he did was a sin, was it not?
How did Pandu commit a sin?
What was he doing?
He embraced her.
Who is this woman?
We're talking about Madri.
So Madri, that is who?
Bro, you tell me.
Who is it? You tell me. Do you know who it is?
We can pull it up. These are the stories from Mahabharata.
So, who is Madri?
We can pull up the characters, but like, what's the point? Like, do you see anyone?
We have to know, is that his wife or who is it? Is it a random woman? Is it his wife? Who is this?
Oh, it's not a random woman, but I think it's one of the moms. But let me pull up the exact character. And also in Devi Bhagavatam 2.6.64 it says, then those munis, practicing great vows, knew that Pandu was dead and performed duly on the banks of Ganges the ceremony of burning the dead. At that time, Madri gave over to Kunti the charge of her two sons and followed the sati practice along with her husband to go to the Satyaloka. So they claim that once you do this practice in Devi Bhagavatam that you are going to the Svargaloka and enjoy the life with your husband over there. There's no mention of the invaders in any of these verses. The only benefit that you get from Devi Bhagavatam, it says, is that you are going to the Svargaloka and enjoy with your husband.
So, we have to look at why this happened. So, Pandu, from what we know, he was cursed and he wasn't allowed to have, and he was supposed to be basically celibate with his wives. So, what he did was actually a sin for what he did. He was cursed.
But there's no invader in this equation, is there, Golden? Like you claimed that they were saving themselves from the invaders. But there's no invader in this equation, is there, Golden?
In this equation, no, but that is one of the instances where you are allowed to.
Exactly, then that's what I'm talking about.
But in this instance, the husband, he himself, he was cursed not to have any, sexual relation with his wives, and he disobeyed what his boon was. So therefore,
then why he's supposed to have wives?
They had to do sati.
Why he's supposed to have wives then, if there is no relation? Why there is a relation of husband and wife in them?
Why? Because we have to understand, was Pandu's lineage meant for royalty? Were they meant to have the throne? Were they?
Very messed up. Like, I make one statement often that Islam is a reformed and little lenient version of old Hinduism, Vedic culture. So yeah, even when we talk, all the tortures they do with the Sahibzade and stuff. If you read the this Dharma Shastra, the tortures in them are even worse than what Muslims used to do for adharmi people
First
who
of
don't
all,
believe in Vedas and stuff.
were these methods even practiced? When
It
was
used to
it
be. It
established?
used to be before the whole geopolitical system change. It used to be.
And
That's
by
why.
who?
That's why in big number people even prefer. They even find Islam better. Even it's a so worse religion, but compared to this religion, Brahminic religion, the people find Islam much relaxing and better in comparison.
But were they treated the same? No, they were not.
Dr. Sanatan, I don't see your request, bro. So, like, try sending another request, or maybe Singh can pull you up. So, another thing that I found questionable in Devi Bhagavatam was the practice of Niyoga. I don't know if you're familiar with the practice of Niyoga. This is the practice where the husband, if he cannot make any babies, he will send his wife to a Brahman, and then that Brahman will make babies with that wife, and that husband is going to raise those babies as his own. Are you familiar with this?
Which caste?
Any caste, doesn't matter.
It does matter. It can't be a Shudra.
Yeah, well, okay, so Kshatriyas for sure did that in Mahabharata, and in Devi Bhagavatam it is also mentioned in there that in Mahabharata the Ambika and the Balika give birth to male children after they have been widowed because their husband died. Following the rules of Niyoga, they are persuaded to have a sexual intercourse with Vyasa, technically their step brother-in-law. In Mahabharata Adi Parv 106, Hindu sage Vyasa was appointed to cohabitate with the princess, but at first the princess sent a maid, despite knowing that this is a maid servant. So this is a Shudra, right? Despite knowing that it is a maid servant, Muni Vyasa enjoyed her. Vyasa speaks about it in the following ways in Srimad Devi Bhagavatam 6.25.11 to 22. Ampika sent to me a maid servant of Vichitravirya, full of youth and beauty, and adorned with various ornaments and clothings. That maid servant of beautiful hairs and of sawn like paint burden, with garlands and red sandal paste, came to me with many enchanting gestures, and making me take my seat on the cot, became herself merged in love sentiments. O Muni, I became pleased with her gestures and amorous sports, and passed the night full of love towards her, and played and cohabitated with her. So clearly, this is a Shudra woman that is being enjoyed by a Brahmana, aka Ved Vyasa.
It says cohabitated. It doesn't make any reference to any sexual interaction.
Like, I don't know how babies are born in your, like, where you live, but where I live, that's how babies are born.
I mean, we don't even know the offspring of Vyasa. Who are the offspring?
These are the offsprings that became the heirs to the Mahabharata. So Ambika and Ambalika, who were the kids of them? Let me pull them up from the story. I'm sorry, I do not remember these names from top of the head.
And this is the reason why the children are cursed, right?
Yeah, so like the children were cursed because one of the maids decided to close her eyes while this whole thing was happening, and that's how the father of the, what's his name, Dhritarashtra, the blind one, was born. Because while she was doing the intercourse, she decided to close her eyes, and that's why she was cursed that your son's going to be born blind.
So it wasn't meant to happen. So we know it was a sin, was it not?
No, it wasn't a sin. This is a practice that has been promoted for ages, and if you look at the present day Arya Samajis, they talk about it a lot. They're like a big fan of this practice.
But what I was saying, is it considered a sin in the scripture? I don't care what the groups are saying. Is it a sin in the scripture?
No, it's not considered a sin. It's actually considered a sin if you do not do it. So this is the way to have babies.
If
I don't think it
Brahmin asks you to sleep with him,
because
any woman, and if
the
that
reason
woman
why I'm
don't,
saying it's not because the children were cursed, so it makes no sense for that to be, practiced.
What do you mean?
You're saying it was a common practice, but I'm saying it wasn't. So where can you make reference to that?
The common practice, as in a common practice, because this happened in Mahabharata. This was televised on national television in India, and everyone enjoyed and watched it, and they were like, "Oh my God, the best epic in this world."
But we're saying that was a sin because we know the children were cursed.
No, the reason the children was cursed, not all children were not cursed. Only one child was cursed. And that child was cursed because the woman decided to close her eyes during the cohabitation.
What about Pandu?
Pandu was not cursed.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Then why was he said to not have any intercourse with his wives?
He probably got cursed later on in his life, but this was not the curse that he got because of this word.
Because the Brahmin, the Pandit, like his wife so much, he said, only I want to use them now on. And he stopped their husband.
Yeah, Ambika was the grandmother of the Kauravas, and Balika became the grandmother of the Pandavas. And Pandavas were not cursed at all. It was only when Vedvyasa approached Ambalika, she was pale with fear and gave birth to Pandu, who was born of anemic and weak. When Vyasa approached Ambika, she was afraid and gave birth to Dhritarashtra, who was born blind. So the moral of the story is, if you are doing a yoga, make sure that you do not do anything bad. Do not feel scared. Do not close your eyes when the Brahmana is approaching you. If you do any of this, your kids are gonna.
That's your interpretation of the text.
That's not my interpretation.
Yes, it is.
Like, okay, then you give me your interpretation of it.
My interpretation of it is that it's a sin because we know the offspring were cursed, and
if it was a sin, why was they approached in the first place? Why were they told to do it in the first place if this was a sin?
Who was told to do it? Or was it his option to do it?
There is an interesting point. If Vyasa was sinful person and who do sin, then all your Vedas and stuff written by Vyasas is also flawed. Like he's a sinful person. So
no,
all of the Puranas are written by Vedvyasa. The Mahabharata is written by Vedvyasa. Like all of the most of the Vedas have like all of the verses.
You're saying
so they all written by a sinful person.
Hold on. You're saying sinful people cannot be coherent?
No, but they are coherent in their cunning strategies.
You are reading scriptures written by a
sinful person.
You're telling me that a sinful person cannot be coherent. You're telling me
You're
telling
me that you're reading all.
You're telling me
a cheater can be a cheater can be coherent in his lies. A thug can be very coherent in his lies, in his false story. The false story can be coherent.
Hold on. Let me tell you something. Can a person that is divorced be a good doctor?
Can a person who is divorced be a good doctor? Yes.
So does the doctor have to read a lot of books and
But
text for
it's
them
not
to
a
be a good
professional
doctor.
skill, it's a divinity.
Yes.
We are
A
talking about
doctor has to
divinity
read a
here.
lot of books. And,
So, does it mean that just because a person sins, they cannot be coherent in their writing?
okay,
No,
so if a doctor doesn't read enough books, is he going to be a good doctor?
you know, Harry Potter can be a coherent writing. Doesn't make it divine.
Yeah.
Coherence
Yeah,
is
I don't think
important when it
this-
comes to
this is
conveying
making
a
any
message.
sense. This is making any sense at all right now, right? Like he was told to do it. He was told by the mother-in-law of Ambika and Balika, and Ambika and Balika were sent to him. So it is not a sin. If they were told to do it you cannot consider it as a sin. The sin is of Ambika to close her eyes. The sin is of Ambalika to become pale when she went up to him. That's the sin that they did. The Brahmana did not do. The Ved Vyasa didn't do any sin in here, bro. The sin is on the women.
Was this an option for Ved Vyasa?
Why is that an option?
No, I'm saying, was it an option for him to do it or not? Or was this forced on him to do it?
It was forced on him to do it.
Can you show me where it's forced?
It was forced on him, and it was forced on Ambalika and Ambika.
If he said, I didn't want to do it, what would happen?
They actually had a long ass conversation. I remember this from the watching the TV series as a kid.
Oh, the TV series. Where does it say in the scripture?
Well, I can pull it up, Ben. Like they made the TV series based on the scriptures too.
Yeah,
I'm
millions of
saying-
people watch it.
Well, like it's not like they were like making up the story while they were doing. They were actually trying to make it more pleasing to the eyes of the people while they were making it. But if you read the scriptures have more vivid details in
Yeah.
it. So I don't think.
They
If you
actually
read-
fix a lot of stuff.